I wanted to, first of all, maybe just to set the scene and speak a little bit on a few of the points, hopefully to lay the foundation for some of my colleagues to complement and come forward with their own presentations. So I think more broadly, the whole issue of planetary boundaries, the way we are consuming resources and the way we are working together, the way we are leveraging and using technology is so resource intense. And this is making it extremely difficult. We will probably need twice the planet Earth by the year 2033 if we continue to use the resource levels at their current rates. And of course, agriculture is one of the key sectors in terms of water extraction. Almost 40% of the water goes to the agriculture sector. And if you look at the agriculture, not only in MENA, but more broadly across Africa, you would see that almost 40% or more of the population are really women. So they are really carrying the significant and greatest part of the burden. Agriculture is also a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. So in trying to identify the issue, we should not overlook the importance and the role of women can play and how they're linked to agriculture and also how they practice their livelihood in the way they cook, in the way the CG provide, develops new varieties that are faster cooking, less time for the women to spend in the kitchen, smokeless stoves, and therefore reducing the smoke and the emissions, and then improving the health, and a variety of interconnected set of issues. When you look at the whole issue of gender, you will find so many entry points that would help us really move forward. Also, to give a little bit more context about the MENA in general, I think we have a number of challenges. You have the whole issue of conflict and fragility, and we are living real-time one big conflict in the region. The whole issue of malnutrition, food insecurity, high population, people continues to increase in above average percentages. The whole question of land degradation, a loss of biodiversity, water scarcity. This region is the most water scarce in the entire world. So when you look at all of these factors together, we really have what we'd like to characterize as the perfect storm. So the drylands also, the way we knew them in the past 2000, most of the reports that continue to mention information and make citations today actually speak about the drylands as we knew it in the past. But recent work we have done, it shows that the drylands themselves have expanded northwards, southwards, and in different directions. And of course, this is largely affected by climate change. Now, if you want to also bring in the food and the energy prices, it makes it more important for us to really look and have a closer look at the gender dimension and how we can make contributions to help ease the pressures. Women, in most cases, carry the brunt of the burden of putting food on the table, especially within the context of Africa and Asia. And this is something we should not overlook. And of course, the recent complication we've heard yesterday from the women cooperatives, how the COVID crisis has affected their ability to work, and the little empowerment that they have making couscous and selling things in the market have all been undermined by this. And of course, COVID is just one example. The drought, Morocco had the worst drought for 2 years in a row, and all of these things are affecting them in a very strong way. So I mentioned earlier the agriculture and the land, but it's important to mention that the whole world speaks about 1.5 degrees, and let's keep things before 1.5 degrees. But this region is going towards a 4 degrees scenario. So this is creating enormous amount of social inequity in the area of gender, youth, unemployment. And I think it's quite important for us to see how we can look at the whole issue of age, race, disability, sexual orientations to be able to, guide our work on gender. Now, couple of points, examples in Morocco and in Egypt, where the whole issue of gender inequality is far more pronounced than many other places. And also some of the key factors undermining the ability of women to become effective economic operators, the whole question of credit, capital, training, and technology. So the CGIAR has a lot to offer. In the interest of time, I will have to skip a few slides, at least the most ones you do. I will just stop at the last slide, which is the action required. Now, when you look at the action, these are not like, groundbreaking science. It's all common sense. And I think it's mostly things that we all know. But it is very important that these are prioritized. The research, CGIAR needs to provide the evidence-based to the policy makers so that they are able to make investments in these areas. So the role of policy here is quite critical. Colleagues from IFPRI and others across the system can make an enormous contribution. Training, IITA in particular is among the strongest in the young entrepreneur and business incubation. So, as we progress with One CGIAR, how can we leverage the greatest capacity within the system to do and encourage cross-learning? And we are bringing these expertise into regions where they have traditionally not been there. And this is the best way to have large, significant impact. And of course, last but not least, the question of investment. I cannot overemphasize this. It is really the key factor that is needed to be able to effectively operate any investments we make in training, but also in the changement of policies. In the interest of time, I will stop here and we'll have other opportunities for interaction. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you today.